So I want to talk about the team a little bit and who's joining us today. And I did mention it a little bit already, but we're going to go, I'm just going to say it since I haven't mentioned them. When we talk about ascended masters and divine goddesses, to me, divine goddesses are ascended masters. We just use the term divine goddesses to refer to them because they're the feminine version, but they're ascended masters too. So we're talking about who's generally going to be here today as part of this collective. Lord Sananda and the hosts. Lord Sananda and the hosts is the collective word for all of the ascended masters. When we say the hosts, really, it's all the ascended masters who have, I'm going to ask for their right words, who have traversed through physical worlds, have incarnated in physical forms, achieved a level of mastery that allowed them to manifest and materialize and dematerialize their bodies and reincarnate in multiple lifetimes as various ascended masters, many of whom are one and the same. For example, Jesus is often referred to as Sananda, same soul family, same soul lineage, different unique beings. However, one in the same ultimately, not the same physical incarnation at the same time. Okay, many examples of this. There could be many examples. So all beings in this collective are all hosts, all through the lineage of Lord Sananda. However, all of the ones who will be mentioned in the next moments who are part of this collective, all in service to the light, and all in support of God, Source Creator. This is her words, not ours necessarily. All in support of God's plan for lighted creation, and all serving God's plan of lighted creation. And for those of you who are or may be uncomfortable with the word God, this is why the one who speaks used the word source. We are quite comfortable with the word God. We recognize this source of infinite supply and infinite consciousness as a source of love and all that exists and all the energies that you will be inviting in today, on this day, beloveds. Okay, so when we say Lord Sananda and the hosts, I hope that makes that clear. But this includes Master Jesus, Lord Melchizedek, and the Melchizedek order, which is also many beings who studied along the lineage of Melchizedek. And if you resonate with Lord Melchizedek, you likely were incarnated at some point or another as a member of the Melchizedek order, which started, Melchizedek is known even in ancient religious teachings, right? Master Katumi, Master Hilarion, Master Merlin, Master Metatron, also known as one of the masters, known also as an archangel, Archangel Metatron. Some of the masters have done both. Although most in the angelic tribes have never actually incarnated, most angelics have not incarnated, at least not ascended master, not archangels for the most part, but Metatron is one who has. Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Lady Nada, Lady Kuan Yin, Lady Guinevere, Lady Lakshmi. I love Lakshmi. I love them all. They're all so awesome, right? Lady Abundantia, Lady or Divine Goddess. They sometimes call themselves different ways. Lady Shakti, Divine Goddess Shakti, Sarasvati, Parvati. Sometimes there's even sub-collectives in there too. The Sisterhood of the Rose, which tends to be more feminine, tends to be more gender-oriented towards women. And then you have the Great White Brotherhood of Man, which is not gender-oriented necessarily, more towards men. It tends to be more male energy, divine masculine, but has just as much connection with the divine feminine as well. In fact, most of these very evolved beings tend to be more gender neutral, not the ones I've just mentioned necessarily, but these collectives, because they have unified their masculine and feminine. So you talk about the Sisterhood of the Rose, it tends to lean towards the feminine, but really they're very balanced in their masculine and feminine. Same with the Great White Brotherhood of Man. They tend to lean towards masculine, but they're very balanced, right? Okay, various planetary logos. When we talk about the logos, we're talking about ascended masters who are doing what we call God, source, creator, God's will for humanity at different planetary bodies. So there's a logos for Earth, there's a logos for the sun, Solaris, there's logos for all of the different star systems, for the universe, for the cosmos. These are ascended masters who are serving the light for that unique planetary body and for the beings who live there and reside there. And they work in the non-physical. They're non-physical beings. Yeah, some people don't know who the logo are. They call them their logo, the logos, or various logi, individual, right? Okay, then we have star family races. So I hope I didn't go too fast there, but I think that makes sense, right? We have star family races, collectives of star family races. So we know these guys, the Palladians, the Lyrans, or Lyrans. Some people say Lyran, some people say Lyran. The Syrians, the Octurians. There's many other star family races, but those are my primaries that I tend to work with the most. Other ones come in sometimes, but those are my primaries in my collective. Then angelics, we have groups of angelics, angel gods, archangels, angels of healing, various angel collectives. As I mentioned earlier, most angels, most angelic groups, for the most part, have not incarnated. There are some who have, but angel gods, they're just serving God, right? They're basically serving God. Archangels serve God first, but their role in serving God is to help humans and humanity. Slightly different. Archangels serve humans, but it's because it's the will of God. Their true service is to God, source, creator, right? Okay. And of course, they help us always. They always help us. They come forward when we call them because that is God's will. That's their role in God's plan for lighted creation. Angels of healing, some of them have incarnated. I don't know all of them. They come in collectives. I have a lot of angels of healing. So we call them forward. They come through too. Okay. Then when we're talking about planetary bodies themselves, we know that planetary bodies are conscious beings. So Gaia Sophia, right? That's the name that Mother Earth chooses for herself. Gaia or Gaia Sophia. She comes through as a consciousness. I do believe she's going to come through today. And maybe as individuated, but as part of my collective for sure. And consciousness of Solaris, right? That's the sun. That's the name of the sun of God. And we're talking about the star known as the sun, right? And various members of animals. I am going to try, I hope to bring forward, if I'm able to, giraffe, because we were going to do it on the last DNA activations and I never got to it. We'll see if it comes through. I haven't connected as more fully, but we are going to do the collective of our animal companions this time. So they're all going to come through. Other beings sometimes come in, but we know that the ones who come in are always of the light, in service to the light, and in service and support of our roles in God's plan of lighted creation. That's all I work with. I don't work with anyone who's not. I'm not interested. But I do work sometimes with weather and weather patterns and storms, which is a collective consciousness usually related to multiples, whether it's Earth and her will for cleanup, or whether it's the nature kingdom, or whether it's the consciousness of the humans or the animals who live in a geographical area. That stuff can, like, that's all consciousness. So if, you know, a tornado comes or a storm comes, it's gathering up energy, for example, of the consciousness of the humans, the animals, the nature elements in a geographical area, and that collective forms its own collective of the consciousness of that weather pattern, of that storm. And when humans though and give it a name, like Hurricane Matthew, for example, or whatever, that consciousness has something to share. It's quite easy to tap into that consciousness. We're not going to have that today. Although I was thinking I could bring in that storm, but it's kind of gone now already. All right, so does that make sense? So when we're talking the collective, unless they identify as a unique individual, which they may, overall, it's going to be my collective. There's another part of this collective I need to share that I haven't said, and that is the eternal ever being. My favorite, in a way, maybe not. So, eternal ever being, all of us have what's called, and I know a lot of you know this stuff, but all of us have what we call an oversoul, right? And the oversoul is basically the collective of our soul family. And so your soul family, each of our soul families, it's uncountable souls in our soul family. And that soul family is the oversoul family that any one of us is part of, is not limited to a human body. So your oversoul family has your animal soulmate. Your animal soulmates are in your oversoul family. It's not limited to a human. Your star family, soul family members are in there. They live on other star systems, right? Or on other planetary bodies, but they're in your oversoul family. Beyond your oversoul family, you as a unique individual, whoever you are, every living being has one eternal ever being. Now, your eternal ever being could be the eternal ever being of bazillions of people. But this eternal ever being is not an oversoul family. This is an eternal ever being that is eternally an individuated consciousness that knows itself as God. But it is still not the entire wholeness, because it is an individuated aspect of God. Okay, I hope everyone's with me on this. So, because if you look at God, source, creator, right? The divine is all that is. I use the word God, source, creator to facilitate for people to be okay with that word. But in fact, creator aspect is very different from all that is. The creator aspect is the aspect of God that creates, that created itself to be a creator, right? So your eternal ever being is an aspect of creator that said, I'm going to create Lori Ann Spagna as a unique individual, and I'm going to imprint her with all of these aspects of her soul, her unique soul, who's traveled from lifetime to lifetime, who's got some things to work on, who's got to work on her own issues in this area and that. And also I'm going to give her all the gifts that she has really mastered from one lifetime to another. I'm also going to give her these extra gifts because she's going to need it for this unique soul's mission. And I'm going to be with her every step of the way, but I'll maintain a degree of separation from her, even though I'll be always connected to her, but I'll stay so separate so that I never forget that I am the God that created her. And I am aspect, and I will never forget that I am aspect of the God that created all that is, and that I am God itself, even though I am still separated from that God, because I have an individuated consciousness as an eternal ever being that takes no personal identity other than that. Okay? Pretty freaking awesome, right? Yeah. So that eternal ever being, which most people do not, I really don't think people know it exists. I don't know. Maybe they do. You see, most of my wisdom is very self-sourced. So I don't know what other people know, but to my knowledge, it's not out there, because I've been in a lot of light worker kinds of circles and starseed circles, and I'm around these people and they're wonderful, but I'm not hearing it from any of them. I don't know. I don't think they know it. So, okay. So the point is, our collective today, my collective includes my eternal ever being. This is how I've learned this stuff. But our collective today, we are going to connect with your eternal ever being. And I don't think that this is a very easy thing for people to do in a basic meditation. So the most beautiful thing is that when you're able to open that connection to your eternal ever being, it has the blueprint. We're talking blueprint in this language, and what we're saying when we say blueprint is we'll use the word script, we'll use the word directions, we'll use the word energetic impressions, energetic frequencies. They're giving me these words to communicate it, what they mean by blueprint for your divine perfection. So in today's particular webinar with the DNA activations, part of what was being requested for by this one, as was mentioned, was to give you the maximum benefits with the least amount of time. So it was directed that by connecting you, each of you, with your own eternal ever being, that you would be able to receive more and greater without all the languaging that has been utilized in the past to communicate it, without all of the, in her words, unpacking of the information. And that through this experience, this direct experience, which would be provided for you today for your free will choice to engage with, that this would allow you to more fully and organically blossom as you are meant to, as you are truly meant to, and what is truly afforded to you. And since we are being given this opportunity to share this here now, we will also say, this is indeed a rare opportunity. This type of experience, which you are all of your free will choice about to embark upon, has not been made readily available to many on your earth plane. It is part of the leveling up. And it is part of what is being gifted through this one here from her own, as she has used the word, discipleship. So know that it is a rare opportunity. It is not often found on your earth plane. There are not many who have uncovered, discovered it. It is not that it is not available to them. It is that they have simply not had access to this degree, these degrees of frequencies of light. Okay, good. All right, so that makes sense. Yes, everyone with me?